So when you hear the word sexual purity, what comes to your mind? What normally comes to your mind? Do you say, or do you think that this is so old-fashioned and it's not really trendy, it's not common now? Or are you among those that say that it's impossible with this generation? That sexual purity is something that is very impossible with this generation. And I don't blame you if you think so, because hookup culture has now become the norm, has now become the order of the day. And it made it seem as if sexual purity is so far-fetched, or sexual purity is for a select, kind of people. And it's possible that even you as a Christian, you also say that it's impossible. You wonder if it is realistic for, singles of this generation to maintain sexual purity. But when you realize that sexual purity is powerful, that's when you now know that it is very, very possible for youths in this generation, for singles in this generation, to maintain sexual purity. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how singles like you can maintain sexual purity without it feeling as if you're fighting a losing battle. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, the first step for you to maintain sexual purity as a single person is you redefine purity. There is something that comes with having an understanding, or not just having a knowledge now, having an understanding of a matter. Once you understand something, it's very easy for you to, appreciate it more. It's very easy for you to know how to go about it. So that's where revelation comes in. So knowledge is okay, but revelation is very, very important. So you have to redefine purity. Know that purity is not just about what you avoid. It's not just about what you abstain from. It's not just about what you don't do. It is more about what you stand for, who you represent, who you belong to, where you are going, what you are placed on earth for. So when you have an understanding that purity is not just about restriction, but it's about what you are, your identity and your purpose and who you belong to, you will live a life of purity. So purity is about wholeness, and it's about living according to God's design, not just trying to dodge sin or trying to avoid sexual immorality. So purity is just about you trying to please God. Now, if you see purity as a heavy rule book or an assignment, if you see purity as a burden, if you see purity as a rule or as a regulation, you will struggle. Yes, you will struggle. But if you see it as part of your identity, if you see it as part of what you represent, if you see it as part of what you're supposed to be doing, you will walk in it with freedom and understanding. That's why I started with you redefining purity, you understanding purity. So know that purity is not just about trying to avoid sin or trying to dodge sin. It's about knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, and knowing where you are going to. Now, the second way you can live a life of purity is you guard your inputs. That is, you guard what you feed into your mind, you guard what comes into your mind, guard what comes into you. The reality is that what you feed your mind on, that's what your mind feeds on, what your soul feeds on, will shape your desires and inclinations in some way. It might not be so total, but when you look deep, if you want to be sincere to yourself, when you look deep, you will see that some of the things that you watch, some of the things that you listen to, some of the things that you see, some of the things that you really indulge in has shaped your desires. It has shaped your inclination. So if you're constantly consuming sexual content on social media, if you're constantly consuming unwholesome content online, or even the music you listen to, you are setting yourself for temptation. So it's necessary for you to protect your mind, protect your soul, protect what comes into your heart, protect the things you feed your mind on, protect the things you consume. You can't strengthen purity, or you can't maintain purity when you're busy scrolling through half-naked pictures and videos in the midnight. How will you maintain purity? You can't, because your mind is already, attuned to that thing that you watch, and especially at night that the mind is normally too somehow relaxed. So chances are excellent that if you're not careful of what you feed on, chances are excellent that you will start ruminating on those things. You start ruminating on those videos that you watched in the day. So it's very necessary for you to protect your input, protect what comes into your mind, because when they come into your mind, they will settle. They will definitely settle. No matter how small it is, they will definitely settle. So be careful of what you consume. Protect your inputs, guard your hearts. You have to intentionally filter what you feed on, intentionally filter what you consume. So filter your feeds. filter what comes on your homepage, filter what comes on your FYP, filter what you see whenever you open TikTok, filter what you see whenever you open Instagram or whenever you open Facebook. There are some contents that when they pop up, they will just pop up, like let them check if you're interested in such content. When you see that this content is unwholesome, that this content is a threat to your purity, you just block it and tell the whatever social media platform it is that they should stop recommending it to you. I do it. Is what I do. I do it on a daily basis. So you protect what you feed on, protect what comes into your mind, watch what you read, watch what you listen to. It's very necessary for you to be careful of what you choose to eat when you are starving. You can't eat rubbish because you are hungry. You can't eat everything and anything to satisfy your hunger. That's why I said you should watch your feed. Watch what comes into your mind. Guard your inputs. Protect what you consume so that you can maintain sexual purity. Now, the third way you can maintain sexual purity is by community and accountability. I always talk about community and accountability. It's never designed for us to be alone. It's never designed for us to fight purity alone. It's never designed for us to fight this battle of staying pure alone. So you need safe and godly friends and mentors that will check in on you once in a while and remind you why you chose the path of sexual purity. So you need people that will encourage you to keep on moving. You need people that you can be accountable to. People that can, call you and ask you, okay, how are you doing? How is this your work in purity? Do you have any challenge? People that you can open up to. There's one thing with temptation and sin. It thrives where there is secrecy. It thrives where there is no openness. But when you're accountable to somebody, when you're open to somebody, temptation and sin will lose its power. Yes, it will lose its power. It can't thrive again. There is one thing with darkness. Once there is light, darkness will flee. And what brings light in this situation now is accountability, is community. Being in a life-giving community, a community that will lift you up, a community that can question your excesses, a community that can bring you back when you're trying to stray. A community that you can be accountable to. A community that you can say, this is temptation I faced today. What do you think I should do about it? So it's very necessary for you to be in a community of like minds, community of people that you have the same goal. Not this one is talking about something else, you are talking about something else. So be in a community, be in the midst of people that have the same goal. You don't have to be alone. In fact, don't be alone. Don't be alone. So if you're looking for such a community, where you can be accountable, I have a community I run for single ladies. We call it Hefziba. It's on WhatsApp. So I'm going to attach the link to the description box. And I'm going to put it in the pinned comment. So do well to join us. We talk about things there. We do a lot of teachings, a lot of challenges, purity challenges, mentality challenges, and a lot of things that we do there. So though it's for single ladies, not for single men. If I perchance find a community also for single men, I will also put it in the comment section and in the description. Now, the fourth way you can maintain sexual purity is you replace, don't just resist. So when you're resisting, when you're saying no, have something that you're saying yes to. So don't just say no and just end there. Have something that you're replacing. You're removing something. Have something that you're replacing. Don't leave that place vacant. Don't leave it empty. So you can't starve your flesh and your spirit at the same time. So when you're starving the flesh, make sure that you're feeding the spirit. Is when you're feeding the spirit, that's when the soul will be healthy. So we can't say I'm running away from sexual sin and you're not giving yourself to the word of God. You're not giving yourself to fellowship. You're not giving yourself to ministry. You're not reading the word of God. You're not praying. So as you're starving yourself, your flesh, make sure that you're feeding your spirit. Don't just leave your spirit like that. So as you resist temptations of the flesh, make sure you replace it with service, replace it with purpose, replace it with prayer, replace it with fitness. Be busy. Replace it with reading. Get busy. If you're not doing something, get something doing, so that you won't be dwelling on things that gratify the flesh. So look for things that energize you, things that keep your heart focused and your mind busy, because you need your heart and your mind to be busy. So when your heart is focused on your goal, which is where you are going, what you are made for, and your mind is busy engaging in things that make sense, things that are life-giving, purity will be very easy for you. So when your life is full and not empty, purity will become very, very easy for you. That's why I said you should, when you're removing something, make sure you replace it. When you're resisting temptation, when you're resisting the flesh, make sure that you're strengthening the spirit so that your soul will be at peace, so that your soul will be healthy. So From this point that I've made now, can you see that sexual purity is very, very possible? It is absolutely possible, but it takes work. It takes clarity. It takes understanding your identity. It takes knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, and knowing where you are going. So you have to make wise choices about your inputs. Make wise choices of what you feed your mind on. Make sure that you're accountable to something. Make sure that you're accountable to somebody. Make sure that you have a mentor, a godly mentor that can lead you in the right way. And be intentional about living. Don't just live your life because. Be intentional. Have a reason that you're living. As you're removing something, make sure that you're replacing it. So I want to hear from you. What do you think is the hardest part of staying pure as a single? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I will be reading and responding. So if this video blessed you, if you learned something from this video, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button so that it gets to other people as it goes to you. Also share it with a friend who you know needs to hear this. Share it with a friend who you know is struggling or battling with a sexual purity. And subscribe for more videos on singleness, purity, and purpose. So until I come your way next time, remember that you are not fighting for purity. Rather, you are living from purity. God already calls you whole. You have no other choice than to live it out. See you in my next video. Bye.